A $10 can of cleaner and 15 minutes of your time can fix a rough idle, sluggish throttle response and an RPM that bounces around at red lights. It can also destroy a sensor, corrupt your ECU, and leave you with a permanently rough-running engine that no mechanic can seem to fix, because the mechanic doesn't know you cleaned your throttle body last weekend. The difference between those two outcomes isn't skill. It's knowing 4 specific things most people never look up before they start spraying. Today I'm walking through exactly how to do this job correctly, the mistakes that turn a simple cleaning into an expensive repair, how to reset the ECU after you're done so the car actually runs right, and a finishing trick that keeps the throttle body clean for 20,000 miles instead of 5,000. Let's get into it. What the throttle body actually does. The throttle body sits between your air filter and your intake manifold. Every time you press the accelerator, a circular metal plate inside it rotates open, letting air flow into the engine where it mixes with fuel and creates power. Release the pedal, the plate closes. It's essentially a precision air valve, and it works in tight coordination with sensors and the ECU to maintain the exact air-fuel mixture your engine needs at every RPM and load condition. After 30,000 to 40,000 miles, carbon deposits and oil vapor from the crankcase ventilation system start coating that plate and the bore around it. The plate stops moving as freely as it should. The air flowing past it becomes turbulent instead of smooth. Your idle gets rough. Throttle response feels lazy. You might notice a slight shudder at a stoplight or the RPM hanging slightly before dropping when you come off the gas. That's the throttle body telling you it needs attention. Here's how to give it that attention without making things worse. The 4 mistakes that turn a cleaning into a repair bill. Mistake 1. Using the wrong cleaner. This is the one that does the most permanent damage. Brake cleaner, carburetor cleaner, WD-40, general purpose degreaser, none of these belong near a throttle body. Modern throttle bodies have a specific coating on the bore and plate that prevents carbon from sticking in the first place. Solvents that aren't formulated for this application strip that coating off. Once it's gone, carbon sticks faster and more aggressively than before, the plate starts binding, and idle quality gets worse permanently. The fix at that point is a throttle body replacement, which runs $400 to $600 depending on the vehicle. The only cleaner you should be using is a dedicated throttle body cleaner. CRC makes the most widely available one, costs around $10, and is specifically formulated to dissolve carbon deposits without touching the coating underneath. Mistake 2. Not disconnecting the battery first. The throttle body on a modern vehicle is electronically controlled. The ECU is constantly monitoring plate position. When you move that plate by hand with the ECU powered up, it registers positions it doesn't recognize as normal, stores them as fault data, and you end up with trouble codes and an idle that bounces between 500 and 2,000 revolutions per minute after you're done. Disconnect the negative battery terminal before you touch anything. Keep it disconnected the entire time you're working. Mistake 3. Spraying cleaner directly into the throttle body. This one feels logical. You're cleaning the inside, so you spray inside. The problem is that cleaner doesn't stay where you aim it. Excess liquid flows back through the intake tract toward the MAF sensor and oxygen sensors, and both of those sensors are extremely sensitive to chemical contamination. A ruined MAF sensor is a $100 to $300 replacement depending on the vehicle. Spray your cleaner onto a microfiber towel and wipe with the towel. Never spray directly. Mistake 4. Scrubbing with anything abrasive. Wire brushes, stiff bristle brushes, the corner of a screwdriver, folded paper towel with too much pressure, any of these can scratch the bore coating. Even a fine scratch disrupts the smooth airflow the ECU is calibrated for and can cause permanent idle instability. Soft, natural bristle brush only, gentle circular motion. How to know if your throttle body actually needs cleaning. Grab a flashlight and look inside the throttle body opening with the engine off. If the bore looks shiny and the plate moves freely when you gently rotate it by hand, leave it alone. It doesn't need cleaning yet. If you see a dark, dull, wet-looking coating of carbon on the bore walls and around the edges of the plate, especially if the plate feels slightly sticky when you rotate it, that's the signal to clean it. You'll also want to clean it if you're experiencing any of these symptoms. Rough cold start idle, sluggish throttle response, RPM that won't settle at a red light, or a check engine light with codes P0505, P2101, or P2119. The right way to do IT. Step by step. What you need. Throttle body cleaner, CRC or equivalent dedicated formula. 2 clean microfiber towels, a soft, natural bristle brush, 8 mm or 10 mm socket and ratchet for the intake hose clamp, a wrench for the battery terminal. Step 1. Disconnect the battery. Loosen the negative terminal nut, pull the cable clear of the post, and set it aside where it can't make accidental contact. Leave it disconnected the whole time you're working. Step 2. Remove the intake hose. Loosen the clamp connecting the air intake tube to the throttle body and slide the hose off. Lay a clean microfiber towel loosely over the MAF sensor housing in the intake tube. Just drape it over the opening to protect it while you work. Work in a ventilated area. Throttle body cleaner is flammable. Step 3. Open the throttle plate. Rotate the plate open by hand to about halfway. On drive-by-wire electronic throttle bodies, the plate may offer more resistance. Open it gently to whatever position it reaches without forcing it. If the motor feels stiff, don't push. You're not trying to force it to full open, just enough to access the bore walls. Step 4. Spray the cleaner on the towel, not the throttle body. Dampen 1 microfiber towel with throttle body cleaner, wet enough to work, not dripping. Use that towel to wipe the interior bore walls, the edges of the throttle plate, and the backside of the plate where carbon tends to concentrate. You'll see the towel turn black almost immediately. That's years of carbon and oil vapor coming off. For any stubborn buildup that doesn't wipe off, apply a small amount of cleaner to your soft brush and work it in gentle circles. Don't scrub hard. Let the chemistry do the work. Step 5. Dry everything completely. Use the second clean microfiber towel to wipe all surfaces dry, then let everything air out for 10 to 15 minutes before reassembly. You don't want any cleaner residue making its way into the intake manifold when you restart. Step 6. Reassemble. Slide the intake hose back on, tighten the clamp, reconnect the battery terminal. The step 90% of people skip: ECU relearn. This is why so many people clean their throttle body correctly and then spend weeks convinced they made it worse. The car idles rough. The RPM bounces. It feels worse than before they cleaned it. They didn't do anything wrong during the cleaning. They skipped the reset. Here's what's happening. Your ECU has learned over thousands of miles exactly how much air flows past the throttle plate at every position. When you clean away the carbon deposits, the airflow characteristics change significantly. The ECU is now working from outdated calibration data and overcompensating on fuel delivery. The engine runs rough not because of damage, but because the ECU needs to relearn the new airflow baseline. The fix is straightforward. After reconnecting the battery, don't start the car yet. Instead, disconnect the negative terminal again and let it sit for a full 10 minutes. This clears the ECU's short-term adaptive memory. Then reconnect, start the engine, and let it idle completely undisturbed, no AC, no accessory loads, no touching the accelerator, for 10 full minutes. During that time, the ECU is actively relearning the idle. After 10 minutes, turn the engine off, restart it, and the idle should stabilize correctly. If you have a scan tool with an idle relearn or ETC relearn function, you can run that procedure instead. It takes about 30 seconds and gets to the same result. But the battery disconnect method works fine if you don't have one. When the throttle body is too far gone for an in-place cleaning. If the carbon is thick enough that it looks painted on, or the plate feels genuinely sticky and barely moves, don't force it with aggressive spraying. That pushes deposits deeper into the bore and toward internal sensors. At that point, remove the throttle body completely. Unplug the electrical connector, remove the 4 mounting bolts, and pull the assembly off the intake manifold. Check the gasket. If it's hardened, cracked, or compressed unevenly, replace it. A new gasket is $5 to $10 and prevents vacuum leaks that would cause the exact symptoms you're trying to fix. With the assembly removed, you can soak the metal body in throttle body cleaner for 10 to 15 minutes, keeping the electrical motor and sensors out of a liquid, then brush clean, dry completely, and reinstall. Run the ECU relearn procedure the same way after reassembly. How often, and a trick that extends the interval. For most drivers, a throttle body cleaning every 30,000 to 40,000 miles is the right schedule. If you do a lot of short-trip city driving, or your vehicle has auto start-stop, move that to every 15,000 to 20,000 miles. Do it at the same time you replace your air filter and clean your MAF sensor. All three affect intake air quality and share the same work access. After the cleaning is done and the car is running cleanly, apply an extremely thin coat of dielectric silicone spray around the throttle plate edges. Not inside the bore, just the plate edges. It creates a surface that carbon and oil vapor have a much harder time adhering to, which meaningfully extends the time before the next cleaning is needed. A throttle body cleaning done right takes about 30 minutes total, costs $10 in cleaner, and delivers noticeably crisper throttle response and a smoother idle. Done wrong, wrong cleaner, no battery disconnect, no ECU relearn, it can create problems that take weeks to diagnose and cost hundreds to fix. Now you know the difference between the two. If this saved you from a mistake you were about to make, drop a like, subscribe for more breakdowns exactly like this one, and let me know in the comments what you're driving and whether you've done this job before. I read every one. See you in the next video.